Almost 10 days after, over 200 persons were killed and thousands displaced in Nigeria's northwestern state of Zamfara. The state government and residents are yet to come to terms with the incident. The bloody siege on several villages in the state were said to have been reprisals by bandits after airstrikes carried out by government forces on January the 3rd resulted in the death of over 100 bandits and the destruction of numerous bases. Shortly before the airstrikes, the bandits led a raid on a herd of 3,000 cattle, only to be confronted by local vigilantes, leading to a gunfight and battle between the two parties. Unfortunately, the outnumbered vigilantes lost, and many of them were slain by the bandits, after which the onslaught and killings of villagers began. It took the massacre in Zamfara villages for the Nigerian government to designate the bandits as terrorists. Now joining us to discuss the Zamfara attacks, what the state government and security forces are doing to exterminate the terrorists, and how they can be stopped from spreading to neighboring states, are Ibrahim Dosara, the Zamfara State Commissioner for Information, and Patrick Agbambu, a security expert and President CEO of Security Watch Africa Initiatives. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, my brother. It's nice to have us in your studio.
Yes, good morning. Well, let me start with you, Commissioner for Information, Zamfara State. For 2 days, over 200 persons were killed. Ibrahim Dosara, please tell us, how did it happen that for 2 days, the bandits were moving from one local government to the other, from Bukuyum to Anka local government, killing people, destroying cattle, destroying everything, and nobody came to the rescue of the people? Where did the state government drop the ball? Did the state government call for help? And if you call for help, what happened? And to you, Agbambu, Patrick, you are the security expert. How differently could the situation have been handled to prevent this slaughter, this revenge killing, the worst since Nigeria started experiencing the terror of terrorism? I'll start with you, Commissioner Dosara.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. To start with, that assertion that bandits were marauding the areas for 2 days without any security intervention is totally wrong. When that report was received, the security agencies were contacted, and there was intervention from the military. In fact, an aircraft was sent to that area to see how it could, the bandits could be bombarded. But unfortunately, there were a lot of incidences that made it very difficult for the marauding bandits to be tackled.
Yes, Patrick Agbambu, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's actually something that one should not just take lightly, because that lives have been lost. If even a single life means so much, then talk less of the numbers that were reported. The Honorable Commissioner have said there's exaggeration in that report, because I personally, we are monitoring what is happening there. But what happened, and maybe the commissioner could not say that, it's that when the security forces responded, when they were alerted, they were going after them. But these bandits were using human shield, some of these communities, to be able to maneuver and escape. And some of them were even as anger or whatever, killing people they see on their ways and destroying things as they were escaping. I know, because the security forces are operating under the international humanitarian rules and laws that guides them, there are limitations of what they can do to reduce innocent casualties. And that was the handicap and the challenges the security forces had. But by and large, the issue of this incessant killing and attacks in Zamfara State and the neighboring states of Sokoto and Katsina has really become a major sore point and a big challenge that Nigeria needs to drastically tackle as fast as possible before we have this, what we had in the Northeast.
Well, thank you, Mr. Agbambu. Well, my question for you then is, what approach should be taken? I mean, I'm always at pains to stress on this show that I'm not a military strategist, but if we're all supposed to accept that when these terrorists are being routed from their positions, then they sort of scatter all over the place, and while trying to beat a retreat, innocent Nigerians can be attacked. That could be anybody. The course that they charted just happened to go through Zamfara on this occasion, but it could go through anywhere next time, and we all could just be in their path. What should happen going forward? I realize that you have outlined some of the nuances here, some of the complexities in this situation, but surely there should be a plan. That's for you, Mr. Agbambu, and then I'll ask you my question, Commissioner Dosara. But do go ahead, Mr. Agbambu.
Yeah, I think drastic situation requires drastic solution. I had in the past believed that whatever arrangement that is being made, the non-kinetic approach which the state governments were trying to convince the people of the states to ensure that they provide timely information. Some emirs whose domain were being used as a striking point. Some were suspended and all that. A lot of solutions have been advocated and have been implemented to the point of even granting amnesty to some extent and all that. This has not worked out well, and it has shown that these bandits are actually geared to create a greater problem for the larger society, larger Nigeria, not only the Zamfara state and its neighboring states. I would go call for serious and urgent state of emergency in that state and the environs, so that for a period of 6 months in the first instance, so that the military can take action and ensure that these people are rooted out. Then secondly, I will also, if the state government can do that in the first instance, to convince some of their citizens to leave some of their homes, some of their villages, though some people do not like it, to become IDPs in their communities, so that the military can have easy access to strike and be able to do all they need to do to bring a lasting solution, at least for the immediate solution for now. Then on the longer run, we believe that the communities have a lot of responsibility to carry out, because these people, they know who these people are and they interact with them, but they are reluctant to provide the needed information and timely information for that. And that has become a problem. So I would join those who have called for state of emergency in the first instance, and that is if the state government cannot be able to make sure that these things stop immediately.
Thank you. And my next question is for you, Mr. Dosara, about those people who have been displaced, numbering over 10,000, according to the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. What kind of support are they being given at this time? Where are they being housed? Can you give us some details into their condition?
Well, in the first place, when the incident occurred, His Excellency the Governor led a delegation of the security heads and members of the Executive Council to visit the scene and the local governments, and also assess the situation there. The first thing that was done to them was the delivery of foodstuff to the people, with blankets and mattresses to those displaced by the event, and also ordered for the repairment of those whose houses were burnt by the bandit, so that they can be mobilized back to their ancestral homes. And not only that, His Excellency also informed the security agencies to move along with the people in their homes when the houses are repaired, to give them a kind of security cover. And thereafter, the federal government brought in large consignment of support, relief materials comprising of rice, maize, beans, cooking oil, clothing materials, blankets, and mattresses, which are quite sufficient to accommodate the displaced persons in that area. For Anka, we already have an IDP there, which the people were moved in from Anka town where they are to the IDP camp. And for Bukuyum, there has been a place provided for them near the Emir's palace, where these goods will be delivered to them. And the security is also being given to the displaced persons over there.
All right, thank you so much. I'd like to ask both of you, you can start first, Commissioner. Then what was the effect of shutting down telecom lines in Zamfara? What was the effect? If we still see attacks like this, you go first, Commissioner, then Patrick, you can come up afterwards.
Yes, the shutting down of telecommunications within the last period was done to, first of all, synergize, strategize, and give the security operatives the opportunity to prepare a large-scale operation like the one they are doing now. And that was what exactly happened. And for the first time, the effect is that the bandits were deprived of getting information from their informants. The shutting down of communication also helped in depriving the bandits from getting access to weapons that they used to get, and the foodstuff that they used to get, which sometime during the period made them to be eating raw food in farmlands. And the bandits were also prevented from getting information on security planning to attack them. And also the security had the opportunity to go easily into their enclaves to carry their operations, unlike when the telecommunications was on. The informants used to put a call, a distress call to the security to come for aid. And when the security moved in to save the people, they ambushed them. So that was the kind of dangerous scenario which led to the state government to taking that measure. And not only that measure, there are other measures along with it, including shutting down the markets, where the bandits are taking their cattle to sell and use the money to buy weapons. And also, they use the markets to buy foodstuff for their uses. And also, that the markets are also places where Yansake are going there to take law into their hand, hunting for Fulani people in the market. And when they see Fulani people, they hold them, attack and kill them without any, legitimate sense of killing. So those are the reasons why the state government decided to introduce the measures, which are also being considered as the type of Zamfara model of state of emergency, where everybody in Zamfara state had to contribute positively to ensuring that the bandits are overcome. I mean, the banditry is overcome in the state. Like religious leaders who are praying, people in the state who are supporting government in its activities, and also the security are given the opportunity to go as far as into the enclaves of the bandits to carry out operations without being ambushed by the banditry. So in summary, it has greatly helped in dealing with the situation. And the current operation was what the state of emergency was targeted.
All right, Patrick, you want to answer that question? What has been the effect of this telecom shutdown? Patrick, I can't hear you.
For the short time, it helped for the short time that it lasted. It was a good strategy, but it is a short solution. It's not providing the kind of solution we need to be able to checkmate the level of the bravado that the bandits are brandishing in that area. But again, even while it was in place, the shutting down of the telecom, some of the bandits were communicating with networks of neighboring countries. We are aware that some were communicating with the Niger Republic network to pass some information to their links within and outside the country. And but largely it helped. And some of the strategies, the shutting down of the market, which the commissioner talked about, also has been of assistance. But like I said, these are short-term measures that will only help, and it cannot be long because it will also affect the economic well-being of the law-abiding citizens and a lot of other people. Yes, it helped, but it was for a short while.
Okay, very quickly, my question is directed to you, Honorable Commissioner. Your governor, Matawale, said that local insecurity is a form of existential threat in Zamfara, and it's probably quite right. But I would like to know what kind of relief efforts are in place? What kind of support are the families affected getting, the displaced persons, and also persons that are missing? You said, oh, the state government reached out to the security agencies, but the truth of the matter is that they didn't come in until the last minute. The response was not swift enough. They came in at the last minute, and that was why perhaps they couldn't make any impact. Although the security experts said they had to be careful in order not to, violate certain international protocols. But what is being done by the state to help the people?
Like I said, as far as we are concerned as government in Zamfara State and the security agencies in Zamfara State, that is your own opinion, because we knew what happened when it was reported. We mobilized security personnel, like I told you, including an aircraft was sent to that place. But I can agree with you that the number of bandits in that place were overwhelming, as it was a large number of troops there. And two, there was an incident where the vigilante or NSAK, first of all, decided to go to these people, which angered them and ignite the whole problem. But I can assure you, security was there, but the number of the bandits was so high. I think over 4,000 bandits were there during that attack. And as you asked me, what kind of relief we have, Zamfara State is the only state that is having full-fledged Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. And we, in fact, strategize. We have large stock of relief materials that are being delivered to villages and communities where attacks were unleashed on the people. And we deliver them. And our activities are there in the website of the Ministry of Humanitarian and Disaster Management. Anybody can go through and see what we are doing to the people. So the question of we are not taking care of the people does not arise, but rather Zamfara State government is doing all it can to ensure that the lives and property of people are protected, and also those who are affected by the activities of the bandits are being supported and assisted. A committee was set up made up of the members of the State Executive Council and members of the State Assembly, including traditional rulers and religious leaders who, whenever there is this attack, they immediately go to the place, assess the problem, and also recommend for what the people are needing. So we are doing all to ensure that we give all the necessary support and assistance the people need. But I can tell you one issue, that is the whole problem that necessitated, or rather made this banditry to take longer time, include one, lack of adequate manpower in the area of security. Two, lack of modern equipment needed by the security to fight these people. Three, the problem has taken long time without giving the necessary attention, perhaps by previous governments, and that has allowed large chunk of the population to engage into the activity, some as members of informants, some as suppliers of petroleum, some as suppliers of weapons, some as suppliers of alcohol. In fact, some are even taking women to the bandits for their enjoyment. So almost the period that this time has taken has given the opportunity for the large population of people to engage into the activity. And nobody, or rather they are making hell out of it, they're making money out of it, and they do not want to leave this. So any efforts that is being made by the government, these people will surely sabotage it. For instance, I can tell you, a tin of Coca-Cola is being sold 150 ordinarily, but in the enclaves of the bandit, it's being sold 1,000 naira. So you can see a loaf of bread ordinarily is 400 or 300 and 200, but in the bandits' enclave, it's 2,000 naira. So people have enrolled into business activities with the bandits, and they have networks that they are making a lot of money out of. And that is why it has been very difficult for the security personnel to tackle the banditry for so much long.
This is a truly alarming picture you've painted there, Mr. Dosara, but thank you for shedding so much light on this. So my question is for both of you, but I'll start with you, Mr. Dosara. President Muhammadu Buhari has rejected the idea of state police. When he spoke to Arise News exclusively, he accused governors of not doing enough to secure their states that they're responsible for, and wanted them to sort of do more in terms of liaising with community leaders and traditional rulers. But in terms of the factors that you just spelt out, that simply will not cut it, will it? And also, you have the emirs of Anka and Bukunyu crying out for help as a result of this massacre. None of the emirs are saying we are capable at this point. So what is your take on what needs to happen to really create a solution to this problem rather than sort of a piecemeal approach? Mr. Dosara and then Mr. Agbambu.
Okay, thank you. Like I told you, the most serious problem is lack of manpower. Mr. President has been doing all he could to ensure that the issue of insecurity and insurgency in Nigeria is dealt with, but the shortage of manpower in the area is a serious issue of concern. And lack of enough and modern equipment to fight these bandits is another issue which we have to tackle as long as we want to get rid of this banditry. Then the state governments are doing their best. But like I said earlier, the problem overwhelmed them. I can tell you honestly and sincerely, almost all the states that have the problem of banditry are having the infiltration of the larger population of their communities into the banditry activity. So whatever the governors employ as measures to tackle the insecurity, there is that problem of being sabotaged by those who are enjoying from this, which I term as conflict entrepreneurs. Conflict entrepreneurs will never allow any efforts by the government to tackle banditry because of what these people are gaining out of it. So I believe for us to tackle the insecurity, there must be adequate security personnel in all the states of the Federation, particularly those states that are having the problem of banditry. And two, there must be provision of adequate and modern warfare for the military and the other security agencies in all the states of the Federation. And thirdly, there must be comprehensive national orientation to make people understand that this nation belongs to us, and where your right stops is where somebody's rights begin. Because I can see people don't even mind human life, but take more important the issue of money. So we need to have comprehensive national orientation, which should start right from the grassroots to make people understand that they have role to ensure that we have to keep our nation and our communities safe. We have to shun from doing anything that will bring harm to the society. These are kind of things that we have to ensure before we'll be able to sanitize the society, before we'll be able to tackle all this armed banditry in the state. And one other problem, again, is when some people constituted themselves as NSAK and follow markets by markets or follow roads, getting Fulani people or those they call bandits, targeting them, killing them, also provoked members of the community, or rather the bandits, to attack those NSAK who are getting innocent people in the markets, killing them unnecessarily. It's a kind of a revenge. So I honestly commended the federal government for the efforts it is making, but it is not enough. It has to make enough manpower in the security sector. It has to make modern and available enough equipment for the security, and also need to provide a lot of funds for the governors to fight this insecurity, so long we want to tackle the insecurity head on.
Mr. Agbambu, your take on that question of the president's stance on the issue of curbing the security crisis that we're facing?
Yeah, I think I agree with the Mr. President. The solution to what we're having, and listening to also the commissioner, it's number one, unlike what he said, the shortage of manpower of the security forces and a lack of modern equipment. I think the most paramount solution to this is getting the people to first of all, stop doing business with these bandits and with these criminals, because that is the number one issue, because it's quite lucrative. And how do you do that? It's not the military, or it's not the number of the military or the equipment that will do that. It's those in authority, the government, that should be able to reach out to their people, to be able to talk to them and get them. Their village heads, their community heads, their emirs, their leaders of thought in those areas. These are the people that will have to. And when you say this must not be done, nobody must do business with these bandits. If you do business, you'll be reported. Then people will start acting accordingly. I remember in Delta State when kidnapping was so much, the Nigerian Bar Association chairman then said, listen, that no lawyer should defend any arrested kidnapper. And that helped the situation to reduce a bit. When people believe that we must do something to help solve the problem we are doing, then if you like, pack the whole number of security personnel in Nigeria into Zamfara or other places, it will not solve this problem. The people are the ones who will have, first of all, stop doing business. Conflict benefactors and beneficiaries are the ones that will continue to fuel this if we don't handle it. But how do we do this? If the people are not willing to do this, then that is where we need a state of emergency. Let there be total lockdown of those areas where these things are happening, those states, so that drastic action can be taken. Though nobody wants that because we're in a democratic system, but drastic, like I said, drastic situation demands a drastic solution. We were handling the issue of Boko Haram with kid gloves from 2009 and down until it became a major crisis, and that is what is happening. We need to be able to call a spade a spade. Whatever party any governor is belonging, doesn't matter. The lives of the citizens are very important. There's urgent need for Mr. President to act and call a spade, not begging them, because there's a responsibility to protect the people. They cannot shift the blames or shift the responsibility to the military forces. No, it's not the responsibility of the military forces in the first instance. The army or the air force should not just go and start bombing innocent citizens. It's only those who are committing crimes whom those people, the communities know about. Like the commissioner said, people are doing business with these people, and people know them. People know those who are doing business with them. Okay. What is being done about it? Okay, so that, I think, is the urgent solution we need to take.
Patrick, real quickly, for both of you, how do we stop the war economy? Because what is scary for me is the war economy. Once it starts, it hardly stops, and that fuels the war. How do we stop this war economy that has started in Zamfara?
Okay, you want to start with me?
Yes, Commissioner, quickly, because we have only 2 minutes.
Yeah. Indeed, like I said, the only way we can stop this war is, one, by sanitizing the society, because the society is generally paralyzed by politics. Whoever is out of power would like to see those in power fail. And they keep on doing this. And what style they involve now is even using social media to keep on telling a lot of lies, a lot of fake news, propagating so that people will be against them. And two, we have to ensure that the federal government recruit more of the security personnel and also provide enough of funds and necessary and modern warfare to the security agencies. And as far as the conflict entrepreneurs are concerned, whoever is arrested or found guilty of being a conflict entrepreneur should be treated like a terrorist because they help very seriously in making this war to go on.
All right, Patrick, quickly as we wrap up, how do we end the war economy?
Yes, quickly. I think rightly the people should be empowered economically. There should be alternative. I think the economic strength of some of these people are very low, and they are saying that there's avenue to make more money, and that is why some of them are venturing into this. Though we can't rule out the issue of greed from human nature, but I think when majority of the people believe that, look, we can live life comfortably outside dealing with crime, outside hobnobbing with criminals, then I think it will help to reduce the war economy. Minus that, and again, the sensitization. People should be able to know that there are better and greater alternatives. It doesn't pay because a community that does business with these bandits could be attacked tomorrow if they don't do good business with the bandits again. So they're also at risk. These are the messages that should go to them, that whatever you are doing today may revert back against you tomorrow. Those are the only ways we can help to stop the war economy.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner for Information, Zamfara State, Ibrahim Dosara, and Patrick Agbambu, our security expert. Thank you for joining us on The Morning Show.